Hey everyone, welcome back to the All Music Matters in That podcast. I'm your host, Brian. And joining me today is a special guest hailing from France. We got Charles from Histheory. How you doing, brother?
I'm all right, and you?
Not too bad. How you doing today? What's new?
Well, the, I'm doing very, very good. I'm working on a lot of music, of course. Been having a bit of free time lately, and yeah, doing a space album. So I'm sorry if I'm French first of all, and I'm also living in space, musically speaking. So I may be a bit lost.
It's gonna be like this. It's gonna be like the way it kind of describes space too. You just start floating in zero
Nice.
gravity.
Would be nice. Would be nice. There's a plane, by the way, that you can book. I think it's like $200,000. So yeah, you need a lot of money. But basically, a zero gravity plane where they just put it completely upside down to give you the feeling that you are in zero G. Yeah, if I would have the money, of course, well, going in space is a lot more expensive than this. But yeah, I would full on do that because yeah, it must be amazing to be floating like that. Would be nice.
I don't think it goes upside down. I think it does more like this. It like goes
Yeah,
up
maybe.
and it gets to the
Exactly.
point in the atmosphere there, then it slowly comes back down whenever because you can't chill up there too long. Otherwise, we start
Yeah.
floating away.
Exactly. Yeah, we better stay alive. That's the purpose. But yeah, it must be a cool feeling.
There's that,
Maybe
yeah.
one day.
Actually, I'm picturing we'll be able to travel to the moon before you know it. It'll be like Futurama or something like that. So,
Yeah, could be. Could be. You can go fast now. We don't know.
Project Star Wars. That's what we'll call it. So
That was
we'll
Star
see.
Wars was a long time ago. So this is thinking in the past.
I'm gonna say that would actually lay the groundwork for NASA to start constructing the Millennium Falcon and everything else too to start doing the hyperspeed next.
Wow. Yeah, that'd be nice. That's true.
One can dream. So we'll see what happens.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. At least this.
Which part of France are you hailing from, actually?
I'm north of France and really close to the Belgium border. So I'm a fan of Belgian beer. So it's amazing. No, yeah, I've been living in north of France since I was born anyway. I moved a little bit, but yeah, not so far away. But yeah, really loving the Belgium and also being close to UK and so on. So it's a pretty good location, close to Germany as well. So yeah, it's pretty nice. A lot of places where we can eat and drink a lot, unfortunately. But it's good.
I'll say, unfortunately, that's meant to be the best part of the day right there.
Yeah, it's unfortunately because everything that is unhealthy is usually the thing we prefer. So we have to be careful and and eat salad and so on sometimes. But yeah, beer, pizzas, burgers, French fries, which are Belgian fries, but all of the good stuff. Yeah.
You can tell he's humbling when he wants to take French out of the name instead of because I guess I don't know how the name actually came about too. I guess just some guy just did something with a potato and just said here, here's a long strand of fry. Here, like, oh,
Exactly.
we
Yeah.
call it Frenchy fries or something. So,
Yeah. But it originated in Belgium, I think 150 years ago. They just, I think maybe they were just lazy because instead of just chopping them in small pieces, they decided to to do bigger pieces. So yeah, it's faster. But yeah, it probably came from there. And then yeah, Belgium is maybe not big enough for elsewhere in the world. So yeah, maybe we stole it. Maybe what does the French do to say we say it's French, and then there we go. It became French fries.
I guess or the French farmer just went north of the border and just made it in there. Just went that way.
Exactly.
It was either that or he just took a potato and then he just threw it as hard as he could at a tennis racket, just split it right between the
Oh,
threads and everything too. So
could be, could be. Well, we have the tennis Roland Garros in France, so maybe they it started there. Someone just threw a potato because they were not happy with the game, and there we go.
something like that. I don't know. We learn a little bit of history every day before you know it. So
Maybe don't take it for granted though. I don't think it's on Wikipedia. Don't say it at school or something.
maybe not. All right, fair enough. Actually, how far are you from Paris?
About 2 hours if the conditions are right, which is about 3 hours usually, because they usually never are. But yeah, it's basically to arrive in the area, it takes about 2 hours. Then it takes about 1 hour to just drive in and find a place to park and so on, because in Paris is a bit crazy. Yeah, more or less about 2 hours from Disneyland Paris, at least. That's because it's outside. It's about 2 hours because it's a lot easier to go. And of course, there's plenty of parking places because it costs like 30 euros or something to park your car. So it's not a lot of people there.
I see why. Actually, the reason I brought it up was because I was in Paris. That was back in 2019. Yeah, that was our last international trip because of what happened with COVID. And
Yeah.
we'll talk about COVID in a little bit here too, but beautiful city. In fact, we got in the Louvre. Actually, we were part of a tour group. So the funny thing was, we got it in the late hours when it was just us and our tour group. There was really nobody there outside of us and this other tour group. So we didn't have to fight to get in front of the Mona Lisa or anything like that.
Nice. I've never went to the Louvre, so it's funny. We have one in Lens, which is a city where I grew up in. They made a second version of the Louvre, but it's not as pretty as the one in Paris because they built it only a few years ago. And, this is the buildings nowadays. It's a big rectangle box, boom, in the middle. And they wanted to make a Japanese garden. So really zen and focus and so on. The thing is that nothing is growing. Where they implanted themselves, the seeds and so on, they don't want to grow. So we have little pieces of grass, and that's it. So it's a Japanese grassy garden, and that's it, and a lot of stone and and windows. So yeah, I don't recommend it. I prefer the Louvre in Paris for the architecture, of course, and so on. But I never went, so maybe one day.
One day. I would say it's pretty hard to do it, so I think you might just want to find a tour company that will get you in the late hours.
Yeah.
Good luck with that. So I would say there's been a lot of Charles throughout history too. I was going to say, are you a descendant of any King Charles?
No, not as I'm aware, but no. Indeed, it's a pretty common name anyway, and my last name can be translated in all the languages in the world. It's just season. When I was young, I was called winter or spring and so on. But yeah, there's nobody that is known anyway. So it's just the first name, which is a pretty common name in here as well. Yeah, don't have any relation with any King Charles or whatever.
Let's say it was that. I know there was actually a couple with the UK. I was just trying to remember. Was there any with the German style? I wasn't too sure. Maybe in Italy, a couple of here and there because of how diverse and maybe split Italy was at the time too. So
yeah,
interesting stories nonetheless too.
Oh, yeah.
But Charles, I do want to welcome you to my podcast right here, and today we're going to make you actually feel like a king. So
yeah, for the first time then.
Yes. So this is your first time doing an interview?
Talking. I did only one interview in writing. So yeah, it's not the same feeling at all, of course. So I hope I'm not too bad at it. But yeah, first time. So thank you for having me.
No worries. Just be yourself, and let's go through the questions. You ready?
Yep.
So I'll start with the first one right here, I guess. Tell us a little bit about yourself. I guess, how did you become a musician?
Yep. Well, I became a musician, more or less, let's say, in 2004, so 20 years ago, will be this year. It was in the summer. Basically, I never tried any kind of instruments except the flute. In school, because in French they decided we have music 1 hour per week, and they decided that to learn music it was the flute. But the really cheap one that you can get for only a couple bucks, that sounds horrible even if you know how to play it, and they decided this was music. So that was the only instrument. I did not care for it, obviously. But in 2004, so I went to my cousin's, and he had a guitar, and I just touched it, and I think like many musicians out there, I just fell in love with it, and I decided, okay, I want to have a guitar, I want to try, I want to learn, and so on. So I pushed my mom to buy me a guitar because I was still not grown up. I could not afford it. So she bought me one in 2004 as well, and I started just playing around. Did try to copy do some covers and stuff. But after maybe a couple months, I was fed up already with covers. I decided, okay, it's not my thing. I wanted to create. That was my only aim. So I stopped this. I threw everything away. I just started putting some notes here and there, trying to make some chords. Was really bad. I didn't have any teacher, so I think every day I was recording something, and every day I was deleting some things because it was horrible. I had a rocky start, but yeah, I learned and learned and learned. After a while, I also took a software, so Fruity Loops, FL Studio. I don't know. I just picked it on random, and I just fell in love with it. I felt it was pretty easy, so I was just composing on it then also, and using my normal keyboard. I didn't have any keyboard like now, so I was playing like that with the QWERTY keyboard. Basically, like playing around was horrible as well. No velocity, no nothing. But I still enjoyed it, and I was creating more and more music. Then I tried to have a rock band, which failed for me because I'm an easygoing kind of guy. I like when we have discussion, when it's open-minded and so on. And I found that, a lot of musicians that I was finding and trying to work with, they were not that easygoing. They wanted to have their views and so on. So we had fights and everything. And I was like, come on, we're here technically to create, have fun, and not just fights all around. And I decided to, get it over with. I stopped it entirely, and I only did music for myself. And in 2012, I started an album where basically I was making more epic music. So no more really guitar and stuff, because I became a bit obsessed with being as perfect as I could be, and I realized that by playing the guitar and so on, I was okay. But if I was making one single note wrong, then I had to redo it, and I hate repetitive tasks. That's my problem. So I hate jobs, unfortunately, of course. So I prefer to do it on the computer, because if I was failing on the computer, I could always fix it more easily. It could be considered for some people as cheating, but I want to create. I don't want to do some live shows or whatever. So this is my purpose. And so that year I made this album, so called The Untold Journey, and I finished it in 2013. But then after that, I just stopped. I thought that maybe I was not good enough, that I could not go somewhere or whatever. So I just stopped it entirely. And it's only last year, so in 2023, that I went back at it. I discovered that we could distribute our music easily and so on. So I started distributing on Spotify and so on. And I redid this entire album, so The Untold Journey, in a few months, in 3 months, because, back 10 years ago, I didn't have everything I have now, that I bought 4 years ago now. And I wanted to, bring in my original view, basically, but with more stuff, more sounds, better quality and so on, because I trained a bit more since then. And I decided, okay, let's go for it. I want to make music for, video games, movies, TV shows, whatever, and also doing some collaborations. So I said, okay, let's go. So I tattooed even my name, Histheory, on my arm, and I said, never give up again. If one day I feel I need to give up, okay, look at this arm and say, no, do it, because you can do it. So, yeah. Yes. Maybe a long story. But yeah, I branded myself. I'm a slave.
Something like that. But don't worry about stories too. I've heard maybe I'll tell pretty long stories as well too. Actually, one was actually a hip hop artist out of the state of Florida. And it seemed like he just had a long story that seemed like go 20 or so minutes, to be honest. So, but don't feel bad. Okay. It's all good too.
All right.
I would say I have to ask about the creator who created that application called Fruity Loops, because I tend to want to create too much Fruit Loops, to be honest.
Oh yeah. Sorry? Sorry. Fruity Loops. So when I started, I think it was version 4. And back then I had I think they always had cheap standard version, like light versions with really electro stuff. So that's why in 2005 I think I started using it. I really did electro stuff. I had like just a bunch of sounds that they were giving, so I only did that. But then I took, so I think it was the producer version, which allowed me to have more. But well, basically, it's not really what's included in Fruity Loops that I like. It's just the software itself that well I learned, and I played along with it for 4 years and hours at a time. So I'm used to it. And I bought basically the complete from Native Instruments. So I just put everything in there. And while I love Native Instruments, that's the keyboard you see. And well, I just launched the software. I'm at home because now it's version 21 or 22, and it looks a little bit better, of course, than 20 years ago. 20 years past, smartphones and so on, many stuff. So yeah, it looks better, but still it feels like home. I just launch it. I know where I am. It's like with the guitar, but I'm not that good at it. But yeah, it feels like home. It's comfy. It's not the best, but yeah, it's what I know. So.
Actually, I was making a joke to the Fruit Loops, such as a cereal brand, because
sorry,
the toucan one, yeah. But no, it was actually good to get a nice little history about it, because I've heard about it, but I never really used it. That's the thing. So
I am. Well, there's apparently a lot of hate on it, so which I don't really get, but I think is due as well to the fact that it's not compatible with everything. So sometimes I think some people were complaining. For instance, even on this keyboard, there's some stuff I cannot use because they did not implement it inside. But yeah, it's like I would need to relearn everything. So and on top of change, put all the stems in my new software and so on. So yeah, I decided I'm gonna for now still using it until people will say it sounds bad. Do something else because really better stuff.
I was gonna say I was listening to a couple of songs last night. Actually, the one was your recent one you released, "Remember the Fallen."
Yeah.
And we got to your music just a little bit too, but I would actually say first off, it was pretty damn good. So, and that's just all you, man. So, I mean, that's badass to say the least.
Thank you. It's funny because that one I made it 11 years ago now, and it used to be a song basically that was supposed to be a song by a girl, and we never finished it. We had a bad story and so on. So the song just remained like that, like for 10 years, lost. And even the lyrics, they were not like they were not fitting with the song. I had a problem because it was speaking about a friend being more than a friend and so on. So a bit of a love song, and I didn't feel it quite right with the song, and so I just reworked it a bit and was thinking like, okay, what could be that song then in the end, because I wanted to find the story for it, and I felt that it would work with the different instruments I changed for Remember the Fallen. So speaking about war and so on. So felt it was fitting. So sometimes it takes a while to find a soul to a song.
Did you have any family members who did fight in both world wars?
I had my it's not directly to the World War, but my grandfather died 1 year before I was born, and he had the Medal of Honor. So he did not die, but I would have loved to know him. But just 1 year before. So my sisters that are both older than me, they had the chance to know him a little bit. But for me, I didn't. But it would have been nice to at least know the only member of my family with the Medal of Honor. So at least I'm still proud.
Yeah, actually, I would say I was kind of the same way with my grandfather. He actually died a few weeks before I was born, and he had fought in World War II. He went through North Africa and pretty much spent the rest of the campaign in Italy. So some stories.
Same kind of feeling then, but still proud. We have to be, because when we see like people that were complaining, like in COVID, for instance, like, oh, we have to stay home. So it's like, come on, people that were fighting wars and still fighting wars and so on. Yeah, stop complaining. because people knew horrible stuff, and we're lucky that we did not, at least. Well, I don't know. maybe you did know, of course, some horrible stuff also yourself, but
something like that.
You have to be considerate.
Let's say before COVID, I guess let's start with this question here. I guess talk about your music a little bit too. So I guess I think you elaborated in your story right there. So I guess if you want to elaborate anything else about it, go ahead. How'd you come up with the name, actually?
Well, it's the funny thing, because I used to write a bit of stories, because when I was younger, I didn't know what I wanted to. I love creating stuff, and to a point in time, I wanted to be a writer, and so I created an entire world with civilizations and plenty of strange names and kingdoms and stuff. And I wanted to use part of our real story, but also making feel like like a dystopian past, basically, where our story could be changed. So well, let's say, like for All Mankind, I don't know if you know the Apple TV show, where they changed the story if the Russians would be the first to go to the moon, and basically everything that would fall with that change, and the TV show is absolutely amazing for that, because they capture exactly the kind of stuff that I like. What would be our story if only one detail would change, and also we have the story, the history we know right now, but it could be that one discovery will change it all, and we'll realize that, well, maybe we were just living in a lie. We thought that this was the actual story, but in fact, it's just books and parchments and stuff that we're just reading. Maybe it was all a lie, because, well, people lie, unfortunately. So maybe there's a lot of stuff that we think it's real, but it's in fact not. So that's why I always like this feeling that we have a history, but how much of that is based on theory, basically? How much is based on things that we believe is right, but it's maybe not? And also maybe some theories that we have, well, say Big Bang and so on, all the big stuff, well, how much of that is not actually a theory, but history? So that's why I like to make this little blend, and basically when I create songs, making stories that could be even real, could have happened, could be that they will happen, could be that they are only happening in my brain, could be they will happen in brains of other people, and basically is to trigger imagination. It's like, even though I create songs with a story in mind and so on, I want also people to imagine their own story, imagine, like, create stuff even if they want, and that's why I came up with this name, so that we can create, all of us. and we I think we need to, and we need to also not take everything for granted, being people, but also the story itself, like being a bit trying to find a word, but critical, if that makes sense, critical on the story itself, and not take everything for granted, propaganda and stuff.
I see. Yeah, it's almost like, I think it's always like put the lime in the coconut and mix it all up. It's almost like put everything in a blender and just mix it all up. So
exactly, yeah.
I can see what you mean too. I guess you don't do any lyrics, or do you do some lyrics in some of your songs, or are they all instrumentals?
I did write, so back then when I was writing some songs, so I did write some, and in the future we may have some songs basically with lyrics. I'm not gonna sing, because I want people to keep their hearing and not like, ugh, so that's gonna be horrible. So even though I have a microphone, I did some recordings, but no, I cannot stand it. So it's not gonna be me. But well, if you know Andrew Nolt from Drunk and Lonely, will do. We have the plan to work together, as we did already with Heartstrings. I covered Heartstrings from Drunk and Lonely, but that was only a remake. We did not rework the lyrics or whatever. But he has a lot of materials that he did write. But there's also a couple songs that I wrote that I want to finally put in music. So yeah, there will be this, but it's not my main core. The main core is really instrumentals. So yeah, and I didn't write lyrics for 12, 13 years now.
I see. But I guess the way you kind of portrayed the music in a way, it always seems like you're trying to like tell a story a little bit. So it's almost like you still got that fantasy writer still in you, now conveyed through the keyboards and everything else. So exactly. I guess, is that normally what you like to try to do with your music? Maybe tell a story?
Yeah, exactly. And to be honest, so the first album that I redid, The Untold Journey, so it's a 12-part album, and each part is telling a part of the story, basically each song. And what I would like in the future, if it's possible, would be to make video clips for all of the songs, telling the story entirely. And yeah, what I want is having a different different styles in there. So I would like to have some animation, some stop motion, even maybe just some paintings, live action, but mixing all different styles in there within the same video clips every time. So even if the song is only 3 minutes, you're going to see a lot of different stuff to just tell the story. And basically, I want to keep the thing that we do not have anything that is settled in stone. So even though there is a story, there's a linear red line that is telling you, okay, where we're going to start, where we're going to end. Then the details of the story itself, how it looks and so on, this is still something that is not settled in stone, which is the entire purpose, again, of Histheory. It's like we do not make everything like stop, okay, this is it, and it's not going to move. No, we have imagination and so on. So I would like to work with different artists that could basically create maybe 10, 15, 20 seconds of the story within their own style, and then boom, putting everything in there so it makes sense. Of course, doesn't look like a potpourri of stuff just thrown away like that. We still get it, but we get to move around and wander in this beautiful place.
Yeah, that's for sure. I know you mentioned about Drunk and Lonely earlier. I guess, how'd you guys meet? Did you just message each other on Facebook one day?
Basically, I found the group Band Together, created by Vox Plastics. So yeah, amazing group. I didn't think I would find one day a community like that. And when I arrived there, I was at about 100 followers on Facebook, and that's it, which I gathered for like 12 years or something. So, but I let it die, and they did not do anything with it. And so I joined this, and I started to find some people and so on. And I followed, of course, a lot of different artists, and of course, Drunk and Lonely was in there. I listened to him as well. Well, to them, Josh is outstanding guitarist, and when I followed him, I was exactly his 1,400th follower. So, he did the standard post saying, yeah, now I have 1,400 followers, and thank you, Histheory, for being the 1,400th follower. And just with that post, basically, we just started talking a little bit, and then we realized that we have kind of the same humor sense, which is the pretty horrible one, basically. But we can have fun on everything, and we started having fun on the yellow trash bags, which was a bit silly because, back then he was doing a cover of Sunglasses at Night. Which is a song I really loved when I was a teenager. And to do the promo, he was basically making pictures of himself wearing sunglasses at night, and one of them was taking the trash outside. And I don't know well exactly. I don't remember exactly how it happened, but I started telling him that this was speaking about trash basically, and that I would be the yellow trash bag because we have yellow trash bags and so on. And yeah, started with that, and we talked almost every day since then, and we really just clicked, and yeah, he's wonderful human being, super supportive, really talented, and that's why I don't know. I never wanted. I told you at the beginning, never wanted to do any cover because it's not my style. But with heartstrings, I just felt like it, so I asked him. I did it, and after that, we also decided that we want to make music together because again we just click. I like his voice. I think it suits my style also pretty great, and he has a lot of materials that we can work on. So yeah, we're gonna work a lot together. It'll be fun.
That'd be interesting. I'll have to see if I can get him on here one of these days. Maybe talk about doing a collab with him. So, I guess I know you mentioned about influences. I think first off, was it Corey Hart who sang "Sunglasses at Night"?
Yep.
It's
not my influence, but
Yeah.
I think we can hear it. But yeah, it is. It's amazing. It's funny, but it's amazing. Yeah.
I think I remember the metal cover actually doing it too. So you always hear like, "I wear my sunglasses at night," that sort of thing too. So, but I guess who would you consider as like been your biggest influence?
Well, I try not to have any because I want to have my style, but of course, subconscious is there and is guiding me a little bit. But I would say that the biggest two would be Hans Zimmer. I absolutely adore at everything that he's doing, and Koji Kondo. Because I'm a big gamer, loved Zelda for everything I have until I can remember. Even have some tattoos. So I don't know if you can see.
He's committed. That's when you know you got a tattoo on your skin. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So Zelda is I grew up with that basically, and yeah, the songs I was just humming them and so on. So what was always accompanying me, even with the new ones and so on. So yeah, I think that gave me the will to make people imagine stuff and so on, because even though I was playing in the game, when I was listening to the music and not playing the game, I was like in a fantasy world and so on. So I think this drives me to this creation part.
Were any of your parents like really into like the classic rock back in the day? Did they introduce you to it, or I guess how'd you get introduced to like very much music in general?
Well, my dad was more fan of the 80s style of songs, more like he was fan of movies as well, and especially everything around Arnold Schwarzenegger, and he loved Terminator. So he had this, and also Conan the Barbarian, and basically I was running in circle with the two CDs that he bought. So Conan the Barbarian was really the epic stuff, basically, and Terminator, well, more like Sunglasses at Night, and more the 80s songs, so and a bit of French also songs, but never been a fan of the French music. So this I left it to him. Johnny Hallyday, for instance, I was a big fan. But yeah, for me, I early on I was more on techno, which then I quit completely. But yeah, I did a bit of electro, and I do still a little bit with the Space album to have some sci-fi vibe. But yeah, it's. My youth was more techno, and then going into Rammstein, but my parents they didn't like it.
Well, yeah, French have to hate the Germans, So
of course, I do like Germans, so that's why I worked with Joel as well, Steam Slicer, and yeah, no, I love Rammstein as well. I love the German tongue in song, and especially in this deep industrial song. I don't know. I think it just drive me, and live is just amazing. So, but yeah, I guess I just I did not get influenced by my parents musically. It was more like, okay, I wanted to have my own style, and I just built it from there. Anyway,
Was it
going
maybe they
back
got a little sick of too much Du Haas? Listen to
yeah,
that one too many songs.
exactly, maybe.
I mean, it's kind of old at this point because I have listened to it a good number of times, so you at least know what to expect when listening
Yeah,
to it. So still,
that's true.
they still kick some major ass. I guess they're the Kiss of these days since they do a lot of theatrics for their
Yeah,
concerts and everything too,
that's true.
explosions and all that stuff. Maybe even sexual references like this and that here and there.
Yeah. I remember Buck Dish, for instance, so which is lean over. So, yeah, with the big thing they were doing, and yeah, I'm not gonna put it in details if kids are watching. Yeah, it's they like to provocate people, so which is also the thing I like because. In this world where we have to be careful on everything and not joke about everything and so on, I like some people that are just going full on and like they don't care. So I respect that.
Yeah, that's for sure too. And then much about Joel, aka Steam Slicer. And did you actually first off check out his interview? Because I actually did
Sorry?
one a while back. I
You
did an
did?
interview with him a while back. Yeah.
Wow. Nice. I'm gonna check it out then.
Okay.
I respected him because, I think he's coming back, but he was in a bit of a break after everything and social and so on can be a bit tiring. So he was having a bit of a break, but I see he's coming back. But yeah, it will be a pleasure. I will check it.
I guess, did you also find him through Band Together, or did you find him
Yeah.
through another way?
Yeah, I think almost everybody, but then it's a threat because with people tagging and so on, then we listen to playlists, and now like I think a lot of indies listening only to independent artists, and as soon as I find some people that I like the songs, I see how they write, how they speak and so on. I think okay, that could be interesting to interact, and yeah, with him I loved his guitar sound and the progressive style that he had. And he's just amazingly humble, maybe too much, but it's crazy. And I'm pretty sure it was the same when you interviewed him, because yeah, he's crazy. I remember even when we did our collab. Every time he was like, put the guitar sound a bit downer, a bit downer, a bit downer. I was like, hey, you're the guy that put the guitars. So do you want it? Don't you want it? In the end, he did good because the song is much better now. But for me, I was doing the opposite. I wanted his guitar to bam to kill everything, but yeah, it really had a sense of maybe a bit more the sense of the song itself to make sure that it was more aligned. So yeah, he's a really amazing human being and amazing to work with as well because as well we're a 4 or 5 hours drive, so maybe one day we'll meet, and I hope. But of course, to make the song, we only talk with messages and never together at the same time because he was doing the music at like 11 p.m., midnight, 1 a.m., and usually at that time I'm not doing music on my end. So we had to discuss in writing only, and it just went easy. Every time I was saying, oh, maybe this part needs a bit of change, and so then it just worked beautifully. So yeah, he's a really nice guy.
Yeah, Joel is a pretty cool dude. And actually, I gave him a shout out earlier, so we give him a second shout out because actually I interviewed a couple of folks out of Austria. We got Ella and Mike from the band Faceless Objects. So
I don't know them. We'll check it as well.
A little bit of metal side, but it's psychedelic stoner metal, as they would like to call it. So
nice. Well, a
little bit.
I'm interested.
Genres are a little bit of an odd mix at times, but I guess what sort of genre would they classify yours in, really?
It's difficult. I don't know. What would you? Because I like to mix. So
I hate to say techno because
yeah,
first of all, I know you're kind of walking away from it too, but normally it's because it's all keyboard oriented or sort of stuff too. So that's why I always like lumping techno in This is more technological. Hence the name, really. But
yeah,
if you know what I mean.
yeah, yeah.
It's just music. Let's just say it that way. It's just music.
Yeah, exactly. I think he's just feeling it. You know, it's also the same when I compose. It's like it's feeling it, and you know, it's the for me it's always also the problem when we have to put the songs out there, especially because I'm trying syncing with TV shows and so on, and when they ask, okay, what the genre and the moods and so on, and sometimes I'm like. Okay, so for that one, maybe, and sometimes I'm just re-listening, and then okay. Usually, that's why I do it slowly, step by step. But it takes me about 15-20 minutes sometimes to just figure out, okay, what the hell did I do? How can I put it in boxes so that the software and so on they understand. And I think that this is part of the whole idea as well. It's like trying to make something that everybody could enjoy. And even have a project. Maybe I will do. I hope I will do later. Where I want to make the song would be called something like "A World for Everyone," and I want to throw in the maximum amount of genres. Sorry for so maybe techno, maybe doom, progressive, epic, classical, country, everything in there, in the same song that would not last for more like maybe 3 minutes, and make it like it goes from one genre to another, but making sense as well at the same time, and everybody could enjoy maybe the little bits here and there, but making sense, which is not going to be easy, but it's something I want to try anyway. So, and the same, this song will be impossible to put in box as a specific genre because it will be plenty of them. But I like to be surprised, and I like bands as well that are doing that. You know, doing different stuff, changing sounds, and just surprising people. So I think it's good.
I guess did COVID kind of really help out in a way? Was there some sort of blessing behind it? And then if you want to elaborate more about how COVID negatively impacted you, maybe family, music, and society-wise, go ahead.
Well, for me, COVID music, not at all, because I was in my break. I only started in 2023. Maybe it did in the fact that I did not come back to it before, but still I could have came back to music in 2022, for instance. Yeah, for music, it didn't impact me at all. Only thing would be that thanks to this, now I'm on full. I'm working fully from home at my day job, so at least I'm gaining about 1 hour, 1 hour and a half every day, because I don't go in traffic and so on, and so I can maybe make more music. So, so in the end, I'm pretty happy, and the company decided to keep it like that. So yeah, I prefer to stay on the positive. Of course, there were some negative stuff, and it was a bit painful. But yeah, in the end, what's the point in keeping the painful side? Just the positive. We had some work to do in the house, so we did the work in the house. We have a pretty good one now, good paint and so on, and yeah, the job which is a bit better at home. So yeah, all good.
That sounds good. You guys didn't have any brushes with COVID? Everyone in the family was okay?
Yeah, everyone was okay. So, of course, we had a lot of people that were sick at one time. Losing taste was the strangest and the most painful. But yeah, everyone in the family was okay in the end. So that's why I keep it, for me at least, as something what I prefer to forget, because it was a bit special, but not so negatives.
That's good to hear. It's good to have you along for the ride here, Charles. Make him feel like a king for the day. That's for sure. Yeah, that's all. I guess here. Let's see where we're at. I guess I'll talk about the gear that you use too. So I guess we'll start with that keyboard in front of you, and then elaborate what else you use in terms of DAWs, I guess any amps or anything, microphones. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, microphone, so yeah, nothing. I used PV diamond something series, but it's in a drawer and it's gathering dust, and that's it. But yeah, for my so I do almost everything on this keyboard. So the native instruments. So it's the complete control S88 because the bigger the better. So I took the biggest one, and I use also this little beauty, the machine, which is really amazing to make some beats and stuff. I wanna bring some hip hop also in the future, but epic hip hop basically, because I still want to have that fantasy feeling and so on. But I want to bring something new to the game as well. It may sound maybe a little bit, like the Spider-Man animation movie, where they mixed the two, and I really loved the way they did it as well. So I'm gonna go full in it. And there's already one full song I did, which was not at all hip hop, but one full song I did with this was a Divine Confrontation, which it's funny because when I did it was only to test the machine, because I just bought it and I said, okay, I'm gonna just lay down some stupid piano line, and then I'm just gonna have fun, jamming the stuff, and I just played on it, and boom, I decided I will finish the song entirely. So I finished it on there, and well, the last bit of gear that I have is, well, like you, Audio Technica. So this is the ATH M50. So for, well, every mixing and so on, because I used to use the Arctis. Oh, I
I just want to check the name real quick. It's all good. Sorry.
Yeah, I saw I saw it at top, Audio Technica.
Okay,
yeah. And I used the Arctis. I don't remember which one before. But for mixing was horrible in the end, because it's not at all neutral sounds. But every time I was trying to mix on there, and then using my earbuds and so on to try and hear, and then I was, no, it's not good enough, so going back on there, trying again and then again and again. So it was painful. I did the entire Untold journey on there, but I realized that I was spending a lot of time due to that. So yeah, I went to Audio Technica, and now finally, when it sounds really good, I hear everything in there. Of course, when I go to the earbuds or directly on the phone or on the car, it doesn't sound like as good, obviously, but it sounds still proper without any stuff being strange and so on. So really saved my a lot. So but yeah, then for the DAWs, as I said, I use FL Studio. I use then so the complete from Native Instruments. So I took the biggest one, because I love there was in there the choir Omnia, which is well, of course, really good for fantasy. So a bunch of choir stuff. A bit difficult to master, because you can basically create words that they're gonna sing, but you have to figure out the words, and they use a bit of a fake Latin thing, so it doesn't sound like anything. So you have to make it sure that, well, for any Latin speaker, maybe they will say, what are you trying to say? But you could say, okay, it's from Lord of the Rings or something like that. It's a tongue that doesn't exist. And so on top of that, I use UJam and Project Sam. They have free orchestra VSTs, so as the name implies, it's free, and it's amazing what they put in there for free. Because 20 years ago, when I had some free VSTs, the fake organ stuff and piano. You lost me?
No, I was gonna say it didn't really make the cut, as we like to say it. In terms of
yeah.
the old
Exactly.
the old stuff, yeah, it didn't make the cut, yeah.
Yeah, I remember like even like playing on the guitar stuff that they were putting. It was called the Slayer on FL Studio. Horrible, horrible stuff. And yeah, in that one, so for free, it's all recorded instruments, and it's crazy because even though I have so the native instruments complete, I have I don't know, I think it's 700 or 800 gigabytes of sound. So you would feel it's extensive. Still, like there's brass in the free orchestra that I just love. I used it on the song one, and it's just boom. It's like it feels like there's an entire orchestra of 60 brass, like, and they just killed the room with this. It's like I think when they recorded it, they must have used big headset to to cover the noise because it sounds like it's going from underground. So I just love it entirely. So it's great to have well, the more sound you have, the more stuff you can create. So I'm trying to gather here and there, and yeah, this one is really amazing. So well, for any producer out there that maybe has a bit of a budget only, the free orchestra is amazing from them.
Yeah, actually, I was waiting for you to say "Sacre bleu" in terms of like how bad like the sound was back in the day. So, and I was sorry to interrupt there a couple times because I was just looking at the name and I was just kind of like making a little reference, saying like it didn't make the cut. It was not that good. So I see what you mean.
No,
That's all.
good.
I see what you mean too. And I guess when it comes to like making a song too, are you listening, say like for a classical composer, for instance, so you listening to that and be like, oh, maybe I could do something with that and plug it into my music? Or I guess, what's your process of like making a song?
Well, usually, unfortunately, it's when I'm in the middle of a song. I fall on another melody idea. So then I have a bunch of files where basically I have ideas, and I put that on the side for later. And then so when I start a new song. Usually, unless I really have a clear idea in mind, but usually I will just go in first in that folder of ideas where I have about 150 maybe now, and I just listen to them until I find one where, okay, I think I can do something with that one now. And then at first I think about, okay, what I want to write as a story, what I want to give as emotions. So as I'm doing, well, the Space album right now, this is, of course, more sci-fi stuff, but there's also a bit of emotional stuff as well. Speaking about basically, this is well, a travel in space where it's an astronaut that is being brought to an alien planet, and being told, basically being shown how we can live with our planet, basically. Standard global warming stuff and so on, thing that we have, but instead of, well, finding a solution ourselves, basically realizing that, okay, we're bad. We're just simply bad at it. We need external help, basically. So the alien species are coming and showing to that person, okay, this is how you can live with the planet, how you can bond with it, and how you can basically live on for years and centuries and centuries in symbiosis with the planet. So there's a lot of emotions and stuff. So basically, depending on that, I then the longest process that I will have in there would be find the right instruments. This is usually the thing that will take a lot of time because I don't want to have just 2-3 instruments, just putting piano, violin, and percussion. And, well, let's call it a day. I always try to have either effects, also, of course, but also different kind of instruments. So it could be organs, of course, could be electro stuff because this is the sci-fi. Could be some grainy stuff as well, to put some atmospheres and so on. So I really try to first put everything in there, all the instruments I would need, and then that's the part basically where we realize that I don't have any theory. I don't know music theory at all. I know nothing. So that's why when people think Histheory is like, okay, music theory. No, maybe I should change the name because of that.
The muse theory. Yeah, there we go.
Exactly. No theory. Or and
yeah.
and so I just throw in, so I know at least the chords and so on the keyboard. So I start building from there. Either I just, well, sometimes even close my eyes and I just let it sink. I play around, so I put on a loop, to record, and I just play, I jam on it until I find something that I really like. I keep it, then I work on it, or sometimes I just listen and repeat. And when I have the instrument, so let's say it's a violin, for instance, then I try to hear basically the melody I want to put in, and then I just play it because, well, at least I can reproduce what I have in my head on the keyboard. So I just reproduce that and rework it and so on, because my tempo and so on is not the greatest. So that's why thank you for those. And then the mixing, mastering, all stuff, listening everywhere and so on to make sure it's finalized. And then it's the title, which usually is done before, because as I like to have a story to create it, I do it before, but sometimes not entirely sure about the title, so I rework that, and there we go, it's finished.
Yeah, I think for me, I think I always thought titles were always necessary, because then it gives you an idea of like, okay, this is what we're gonna do the story, and then we just formulate the beginning, middle, and end, like this and that too. So I can see what you mean. Do you still write these days outside of music, or do you like anything for newspapers, books, short stories, anything?
Yeah, no, not really. I'd like to, because, but I said, given the fact that I write the stories for the songs, I considered about maybe, well, writing the story itself, well, on paper, but wouldn't be that huge, basically, because this is, again, I don't want to have too many details, so would just be pretty short, but as lyrics and stuff, no, I know I'm not going to do many, as I'm going to do collabs with Drew. He has about 1,005,000 songs, I don't know. So yeah, when he will be over and he will say, okay, man, I'm I'm dried out, I don't have any other songs I wrote, maybe then, but yeah, so far it's not the idea. So it's just really writing instrumentals, finishing this album, and then I'll go full on dedicated to Andrew and some other collaborations.
All right, sounds good. And I guess, speaking of which, I guess, when do you join band together? I don't know if did you mention it earlier in the interview?
No, I did not. And to be honest, I don't remember exactly the date, but it was somewhere in October. I think it was in mid-October, because I don't think I released yet Untold Johnny, which I released in November, and I released the first single in October, or first and only single. So yeah, I think it was around mid-October. Yeah. So it went fast.
Yeah,
didn't expect that.
Like I said, what other social media are you on, and is there something you hope to achieve with your social media?
Well, I'm on Instagram, which I'm finally getting up to speed with, because I have it again since like 10 more years, but I had until last year 0 post on it, and I've found it a bit challenging, the way it looks. I know they like pictures and stuff, so they show it in big, but the fact that it's really written small underneath, with the little post itself, basically. And as I like reading the post with it, not only just a picture, but a bit of story behind and so on, I struggled a bit and I left it on the side, but getting up to speed with that. And TikTok is a strange beast because every time I try to post a bit of a video, and usually I to do some fun stuff and so on. But yeah, I realized that all the views that we're getting, they're like in 30 minutes, and then you disappear from the radar, and that's it. So I don't know exactly how it works. It's like YouTube, but even worse. So yeah, I don't really know yet. So for now, it's more Facebook, because this is where I have the most views, and this is also feeling like home. Of course, with the issues that we have on Facebook and the fact that some pages are disappearing and stuff, it's a bit worrying. So I know, and I'm trying to put myself out there. So if one day I lose one page, at least I have something else. And I have also a website that I built because I wanted to make some adventures that I launched the first one that did not work fully because basically what I want to do, so to rejoin your question, what I want to do with social is basically making a community of historians. So we would, as I said, I want all of us to create stuff as well, to have the imagination of people, and so I started a little project called Adventures, Fantasy Stuff, and so on. But I want adventures, not to be complicated. So I'm not going to ask people to slay a dragon because that's going to be difficult. But the first one I launched was Do the Sax because I have a song called The Business Trip, which is a song I wrote is basically making feel like, okay, you're just gonna go on a business trip basically, but not like the gray life of a job, boring, and you're just gonna take the subway and then you hate your life because you have a hateful job and so on. But no, the really the job that you enjoy, get you moving and so on. So the song is really jazzy and so on, and so there's a saxophone in there, and basically I just did these adventures for people to just play the saxophone, but of course not with the saxophone, but with anything else, and just record themselves on social media so that they could have fun and so on. And later on, for now, I put it a bit on the side. I want to basically invite people to, as I said, do the little clips. So I want to invite people to make short version of the story for one specific song, for instance. And basically, I would then use that in a full video clip, and of course do some advertising also for them. So at least this would work for me as the song, as the video clip, but everybody would have their name in there, and then we could link all together and work together as being maybe wider and wider in the audience. So that would be my aim, basically, to have really a strong community where we can work and collaborate all together.
Yeah, that's definitely a good idea right there. I was going to say, Histheorians. I think that's what your fans should be called. Yeah.
Yep.
That way you get a nice play on with historians and everything too. So that's pretty cool. So I guess which fantasy were you really into? Were you into like the Lord of the Rings, and I guess were you like Star Trek, Star Wars, and all those for sci-fi?
So yeah, Lord of the Rings, fun stuff. I hate the book. I just hate it, but it's the same. That's how I work. I like imagination. So I don't like the way Tolkien works because he puts no ground for imagination when he wrote the book, and I hate that because just going in the forest and him like basically explaining all the trees and so on, I'm like, okay, well, where do I go? How can I put my mind in there? Because you already built everything. So it was nice then for the movie itself, the movies, because they basically had the perfect thing to explain. But yeah, the book I hated, but yeah, the movies, obviously I love them. Then yeah, it was. Maybe when I was young, I loved the Never-Ending Story. I used to dream about riding Falco and flying around. So yeah, I really love that one. And I'm a fan of Harry Potter as well. So yeah, this and Star Trek. We always have a fight with Star Wars and Star Trek. I'm on Star Wars side. Star Trek, I never really been a fan. The only ones, maybe some people will hate me, the only ones I did enjoy were the one from J.J. Abrams, because at least they were, pretty good in visuals, and I like the story, and especially the second one with Cumberbatch doing Kang, I think, or Khan, no?
Oh,
Khan, yeah, exactly, Khan. And I felt that he did it pretty well. I like a good bad guy, that I could always maybe be on his side because he's so cool, and I found him really cool. So yeah, it would be only those Star Trek. But yeah, then as I said before, so sci-fi Terminator would be also my universe. Maybe what's gonna come with all the AI and stuff. But yeah, this is my style.
Yeah, I do remember listening or watching a whole lot of Star Wars way back in the day, mainly the original trilogy.
Yeah.
I never got into Empire Strikes Back. I always loved just New Hope and then just go right to Return of the Jedi. So I think it really got as much love as I should have. So I see what you mean there. And I also did remember reading Harry Potter books for a good while. Then I think it was one day, I think it was the last book. For some reason, I just stopped. I was like probably halfway through it, I just stopped. So I had no idea why.
Well, yeah. It's funny because my niece, she stopped, but not the books, but the movies, but also with the last one. She just watched all of them, but the last one. I was like, come on. It's 2 hours. Finish it. But yeah, I don't know.
I think it's 2 separate movies, but basically it's 4 hours maybe altogether or something like that.
Exactly. No, but she did watch the first part, so that's why I think she really started it, and then she just stopped, and I was like, oh yeah, watch this. It's the war, and it's gonna be pretty good. And on top, well, I know after the sixth one, which was a bit downer, but yeah, I think the last two the last two parts they were pretty okay. Finishing it well. Of course, with Voldemort, some people didn't like that he was disappearing, but yeah, it's just a detail for me. But yeah, I felt it was pretty nice compared to some movies adapted from books that we're getting. So yeah, I think we cannot complain. Anyway, we're gonna get a new TV show, I think, on Harry Potter. So.
They did a movie. I forget what it was, but yeah, I think it was The Cursed Child. I think that's what it was called. Yeah,
there was this, but I know I think it's from next year, maybe 2025. Yeah, I think they're gonna make a TV show out of it with so still the same story apparently, but new, of course, new actors and so on, and maybe more with the books because they will have more time because it's in a TV show. But yeah, I'm a bit afraid because they they did it already. So yeah, redoing the same story. Yeah. It's not working well with Lord of the Rings while they're not doing the same story they're building around. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, but we shall see. But I guess getting into more of the other questions here, I guess. So what's some of the challenges you face being a musician? Do you have more time constraints, if anything?
Well, there's this, but yeah, we can always stretch a little bit, maybe sleep a little less than usual. But yeah, I'm lucky that my wife is pretty supportive with me, so she does give me a lot of time to work on music as well. But yeah, for me the biggest challenge is really more the support from people, because fortunately in my family, when where I grew up, my parents, they never really supported me in music, so that's why also I gave up, because I didn't feel I was good enough. So the challenge is also there, unfortunately, because I felt that it was not worth it, basically. But so with my wife and my in-laws as well, so her parents and my niece, they're really supportive, and thanks to them, basically, I decided, okay, I need to get out there. I have the chance to do something. I should have a worth, and let's go at it. So yeah, the biggest challenge was finding support, but also believing in myself, which is the thing I didn't do for almost 35 years. So yeah, I think this is the most complicated one, and accepting that it's not happening in a moment. It's like there are some stories where we see where people like just finding the right person at the right time, and then bim, and then it starts moving around. Well, this can happen, but yeah, we have to accept that these things, they take time, and yeah, so it's really like trying to dial down maybe expectations, so knowing the worth, but also accepting that sometimes we're not going to get 1 million views in a month. That's not going to happen like that. So that's the challenge, basically, like making sure I adapt my mindset, my expectations, basically, so that I keep doing what I love. I keep trusting that I could go out there, but knowing that, probably next month I will still be doing the same job, I'll still be doing the same thing, but still trusting me.
So I know you mentioned your real job is actually customer service. So I guess how bad is it really? Do you get a lot of Karens or Chads, as we like to call it?
I'm lucky that I'm no longer really speaking to customers because I'm a senior at customer service. So I'm helping the agents, basically the colleagues, except when they ask for a manager, which is the fun moment where basically they're really completely pumped up. So I'm. After a while, the thing, as I said, is like it's not the job itself that is complicated. It's the fact that it's repetitive because, I do it in a travel company, so it's everything about travel. And after a while, I covered a little bit of everything. So, like sometimes we have fun stories because, you don't realize how much craziness can happen in some hotels on Airbnbs and so on and so on. So, there are some pretty nice stories. But generally speaking, for me, I'm really basically not drawn in it because, I see the same thing every day. I have the same questions every day. And in customer service, there is a bit of turnaround. Things correct. Basically, people are, just staying for a couple of months, up to 5-6 months, then they leave. Then we have new people and new people and new people. So every time it's basically retraining them, telling them how it works and so on. So I realized that this is not really the thing I want to do with my life, just repeating the same stuff all over again. And that's what's going to change as well, because AI is going to replace everything. So anyway, I know that in a few years, in about 3 years, they already laid the grounds. Basically, AI will replace our job. So I know I will be out of the job in a few years. So I need to prepare myself, which is what I'm doing, putting money on the side and so on, but also doing all this because, as I'm lucky that I know the job, doing it for more than 10 years, so I can, focus myself completely with music because I know that I finish the job, okay, it's finished, it's on the side, and I go on music, and I have my work computer on the right and my music computer on the left, so then I just switch in 20 degrees, not even, and then I can work on music. So even sometimes during breaks or lunch break, I quickly and then I do some music. So at least I can go away.
You go away to that happy place. Actually, it would be like how the cartoon would be. It'd be like going like a typewriter almost. You're doing like both music, then you get back and do the work afterwards with customer service and everything too. Then you just click again, back over to the beginning. Just keep doing that whole deal.
Exactly.
Don't let that cartoon style too. The reason I did bring up that was because most people I have interviewed, especially in the band together community, these are people who are like middle class people. So some of them got families. They're working sometimes multiple jobs outside like the music that they're doing. So you can see time constraints, marketing, that sort of stuff too. So I guess what you mean too. So thanks for sharing that. But also, I think the advice that we also give, because I know sometimes I don't think we really give a whole lot of advice on the band together group, to be honest. Because like sometimes we might say this and that, say like, oh, we're having a bad day or something happened with my house. We're not really like, hey, here's a little advice, and this is what I did to get through. So I guess what sort of advice would you give to other musicians and people in our community?
Well, for me, the top one, not giving up. Because I realized that, and I think, what if I did not stop 10 years ago? Where would I be? I would have had 10 more years, basically, doing music. So maybe not as much as I would have hoped, because 10 years ago I was starting with this new job, basically. I had it only for a year, so I was still finding my way and so on. But yeah, I keep thinking, okay, I did lose 10 years of my life doing this job that now, well, I don't really like, of course, like everybody. So yeah, maybe I could have went saw somewhere from there. Maybe I could have had an opportunity. Maybe I would have created a lot of music I would be proud of and so on. So there's a lot of maybes, but no regret. So yeah, not giving up is really for me the top one, and not focusing on people on people listening, basically on statistics and so on, because it's not because there's only a few people that are listening that we're bad. We're just not lucky at that moment. We do not have enough reach and so on, but that does not mean that we're horrible at it. And we are horrible at it at first. Like I listened to my first stuff and it's truly horrible, and I keep some files still because sometimes I like to remind myself, okay, if I release that today, that's it. Tomorrow I have 0 follower on Facebook. Everybody would run away. So yeah, it's pretty normal. We get better and better and better. So yeah, it's really the best advice is really the mindset, basically, like in everything. So trusting yourself and be yourself as well, as much as possible, and yeah, not giving up, pushing and pushing and pushing, because we're in here because we love it. We're not doing music because we have to. So
something compels us to stay here or something
exactly.
Like that. Yeah.
So then having external work, so either indifference or having maybe some people saying, hey, your stuff is bad, affecting us and basically stopping us from doing something that we wanted out from our chest or something we wanted to create. I think it's really, really bad, and it's where we lose, basically. It's at the moment we're giving up. It's not when there is someone saying us we're bad, so when we have nobody listening to us. This is not when we lose. This is really when we just, well, put the guitar on the stand and then never touch it again. Expect when we do dusting. So yeah, not giving up, trusting, and yeah, with the community. That's the great thing. We have plenty of great people as well, and plenty of supportive people. So a lot of different genres and so on. So yeah, maybe, and that's what I did also with a few people. People that we know outside of the community that maybe you're looking a bit strange and so on, well, try and go there, go out there, because there's a community of people that are pretty nice. Maybe, of course, they don't have the solution for the mindset or whatever, but at least just the kindness and the support that they show it's mind changing. For me, it did change me also a lot, because 10 years ago, I was on SoundCloud, and I was listening to a lot of music, commenting and so on, trying to support. And I did not see the result. And well, then after I stopped music entirely. So I said, okay, what the heck? I'm not going to do that. I'm not doing it for me. I'm not doing it for everybody. So I just, well, sunk in, did my job, my routine, and that's it. But with this community, basically, is, well, I realized that supporting other artists is both easier than supporting ourselves, but also feels really great, because when we see people that are happy with this, and maybe, well, thanks to that, creating more music and so on, just giving that bit of energy and good vibes to people is also really refreshing, and it makes me feel good. So I'm happy with it. So I know that I even want to make more music by supporting other people more than when I promote myself, because it can be a bit boring, and that's why I love the funny promotion, because I have fun with it. But the normal promotion, I prefer to do it on others, because it's not when I do the promotion that I put a smile on my own face, but if I do it for someone else, yeah, I'm happy. So yeah, supporting others, I think, would be well, it's also a good exercise to feel better and to keep doing music.
Amen to that. I know you mentioned about AI a little bit too, but I guess, are you using a little bit of AI to make some of the picks that you're using on your covers?
Yeah. Yeah, for the pics, there's the Untold Journey was made by an artist called Pixel Boy. So 10 years ago, he did it back then. So I have the entire cover with the CD cover and so on, because one day I want to do a physical version, but for this version, because I wanted it printed, I wanted one fully original artwork, human made and so on. So that's why I had it made this way. But it cost a fair amount of money, of course, to have an artist. I don't have artists that are that to that level, basically, that are friends or whatever. So I could maybe use that connection, maybe in the future. But yeah, I use AI for all the covers, so remember the font and so on. Because yeah, if I would do it, with sticky figures, stuff there, I think nobody would listen. So yeah, I do. But
Just
not
saying, I think I'd say a little bit worried because of the AI, because it seems they're also doing like AI music and stuff like that too. So I'm hoping they at least start to get it under control at some point where it's not taking people's jobs or anything like that. Maybe if it's because do you pay like a little subscription for yours? Is that how it works? Or I guess
no, for I don't spend anything on it because I use Night Cafe, and every day they give 5 credits for free. So the thing is that because I don't make one song a day, so I don't need one cover every day. But every day I go on it and I click to gather credits. So right now I have like 400 credits or something. So I can I have a lot to work with basically. So as long as I have 3 credits, I use that, and then I use GIMP, which is again free, to either fix the strange stuff happening. Sometimes the hands that AI still have trouble to show. For instance, on the Gaia Thras, the hands of Gaia, she had 6 fingers. So we decided to just cut one of the fingers, basically. So yeah, I use GIMP then for that. Then also some to just make the picture a little bit better, popping colors and so on and so on. But yeah, then I don't spend anything on that, and that's why if I would spend money, then I would ask someone to do it. I use AI because I know it's free for me with this. But if not, yeah, I would use, or if I would know someone that would draw it and so on, I could do it. Then yeah, I would. But I need that specific fantasy style, looking sometimes a bit like video game and so on. So yeah, it's a bit specific. So yeah, for now doing that. In the future, if I start to get a little bit of money and so on, I know AI will disappear for me because I would prefer to put some money I would gain on some artists and so on, and getting, as I said, because I want the video clips and so on made by people, then I would use that instead to have that entire community of human beings, no computers. So yeah, would be good. But yeah, AI music, no, never. And even with the software, so with native instruments, they have, for instance, the action strings, where basically you just launch the thing, you just select the progression you want with strings, and then you just press, and it does everything, and you just press one key, and that's it. So it's not AI because it was recorded, but still, you just put it down and then that's it. It's doing the song for you almost. And this, I don't use it as well. I don't like it because I want to create the song. I don't want to use samples on everybody to make the song for me. So yeah, I'm against that.
Yeah, that's definitely true. And I think I was hearing a couple times on the radio, they were saying like these bigger bands, they were actually starting to use like AI pictures. Oh. So of course they were voicing their opposition to it, I should say, because they were saying, no, go out there, get some artists, and have them design the logo and everything else for you, the album cover.
Especially if they are bigger bands, it's like they should have at least a little bit of money to pay some artists. And on top, it's and then I don't know, but for me, the Untold Journey, everything I paid it's a bit of money if I would do that for every song. Okay, I would need a better job. But still, I know that for one album, for The Great Unknown, so that's the space album I'm doing. If I want to do also a physical edition, I'll do the same. Yeah, even if I still have a few cents of royalties, and that's it. I will still pay for it because I would prefer to have something handmade for the album. So I would do that. So yeah, for big bands and so on having the money, I think they could spare a few $100 or something to to have a cover. And I'm pretty sure on top that a lot of artists would be willing to do it for free just to have that little bit of advertising with the band. So I think they could just say, okay, who wants to make the cover? And they would have a bunch of artists doing it for them, which could be also cool stuff because people would be engaged maybe in that. Maybe they could even do, like special covers with countries, like select one for France, one for UK, one for Germany, and then selecting one artist per country or something. So yeah, there could be a lot of different ideas. Yeah, AI is everywhere now. So.
It remains to be seen. But it's like what you were saying earlier about Terminator, that sort of stuff. The machines are taking over. So
exactly, yeah.
Love to see what happens. But here's going forward. So best luck to you, Nate. So
yeah.
So Charles, we briefed through the questions here pretty good. I guess let's go ahead and jump into the fun ones. Ready?
Yeah. Always ready for fun. So.
All right. So first off, what is your favorite food?
Sushi is one of my favorite because I could have it every day, I think, and not getting tired of it. Only thing is that it costs a lot of money then. And as I said earlier on, everything that is unhealthy, unfortunately. So all pizza, burgers, fries, French fries. So yeah, at least there's the sushi part that is saving it a little bit, but also compensating a lot with salads because with my wife we try to balance life. And at the beginning, I was not a bit fun. I was like, okay, I'm eating salad too. I have the right to eat a burger later on. But after a while, I really started loving it. So, we take the vegetables of each season. So at least we eat responsibly. And now I enjoy also a lot this because it's fresh and so on. So it's a mix of stuff. So not one particular favorite food. But yeah, if there would be only one, I think it would be sushi.
You got one food to eat for the rest of his life. It would be sushi.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's probably how we should phrase the question going forward, though, too, because everybody always lists like a long list of everything, too.
Exactly. Maybe, yeah. If you're the only last person in the world and you have only one supply of food, what is it? But then sushi is maybe a bit cheating because there's a lot of different sushi types. So, yeah, I'm cheating a bit, but yeah.
Oh, well, you know it. So, whatever. Actually, the funny thing I always got a kick out of the stereotype that they say for French people is they're good kissers. So, are you a good kisser?
I don't know. I never kissed myself. So, yeah, I don't really like the cliches. So, yeah, maybe. But they say also that the French accent is sexy, and I don't find it because when they hear me, I'm like, oh, no, I'm not. And even when I see movies with French stars while doing English movies, I don't think so as well. I prefer the ones that are having a really good accent, like Eva Green, for instance, which is bilingual completely. So yeah, maybe you can ask my wife. Maybe.
Oh, you'd hope so. Well, about French fries and there's French kissing, that sort of thing. So, for a lot into it too. So, just wanted to throw it out there too. So it's a bad stereotype, but it's at least a funny one to talk about.
It's a stereotype. Yeah. No, it's funny. Hey, maybe it's true. I don't know. There are some stereotypes that are true, but yeah, I cannot say. I'm not maybe the best French guy out there for that.
So you got to do some more experimenting. That's for sure.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Well, that was a part of it, but I just wanted to get a little fun out of it. But
that's good.
What would you consider as your favorite movie? Because I know we talked about sci-fi and some fantasy a bit. So I guess what you got?
only one, or can I pick a few? Because
If it's a part of a trilogy, maybe. So.
yeah. Well, so again, well, we talked about the Terminator, for instance. Second being the best for me. Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, and blah blah blah. All plenty of them. But if I would have to pick only one, I think it would be, well, maybe a bit of a surprise. Would be Toy Story, because it's the first animation movie ever. I watched it in the cinema. I was only 7 years old, and I just fell in love with the animation, basically, because, well, we all knew already the Disney movies and stuff, so everything drawn and so on. And I don't know, something drew me into the animation style, and since then, I think not all of the movies, all of the animation movies, I'm not watching them. Some I'm not, of course, but every time I see one new animation movie, I'm all excited. I'm like, okay, I want to see it. I want to see it. So it's really thanks to that movie, basically, that opened it all. They really outdid themselves, and also the fact that it was brand new, this idea of having living toys, and I was a kid and I was having toys also myself, obviously. So I was like, okay, maybe they're really alive, and it really just made my brain like go all over the place, and that's where also I started imagining stuff and so on, and creating some universes and so on. So yeah, only one would be that one. The sequels as well, but yeah, the first one is obviously the one that made it all happen. So yeah, that's the one.
I know director Quentin Tarantino talked about how the third one was his favorite because I guess it got pretty intense and dark at times. So
yeah,
me too.
I cried also when they were holding hands around the fire. Yeah, it's a bit was a bit too much.
You tell me. So,
pretty good.
Good choice.
Pretty good.
I do remember watching a good bit, but more so the first one, if anything. So
yeah. And just if I can put on the side as well, because if you love animation movie, the Chinese are really starting really being really good with that. And there's a movie that released in China, I think it was last year. It's going in France also now, so maybe in the US, I hope. It's called Deep Sea. And I cannot recommend it enough because, first of all, the visuals, they're killing Disney. You know, like Wish doesn't look great. Well, they are going really down. So first of all, it looks absolutely amazing. But the story itself and the emotions, so as you said in Toy Story 3, for instance, but the emotions that you have in there and the message also that there's in there are truly incredible. And for me, this is becoming one of my favorite movies of all time now. So yeah, I cannot recommend it enough. Watching it on Chinese, if you like, keeping the original vibe like I do with subtitles.
Keeping it real, yo. That sort of thing.
Yeah. But yeah, this, as I said, thankfully, because there's a few Chinese animation movies that are good, but that one was maybe the best one I've ever seen, and usually they don't go out of China, unfortunately, but this one is finally going out, so hopefully more and more people can watch it. But I cannot recommend it enough because it's magnificent.
We'll have to see. I don't know if many people will be happy with the fact that it was made in China. So, but interesting choice. So good choice. So for the next one, first off, do you drink by chance?
As I said, close to the Belgian border, so yeah, smelling beer every 5 seconds. So yeah, I do. Yeah, I love beer. Unfortunately, again, but
the bad beer belly from winter time, yeah.
Exactly. Well, we got to stay alive, but winter time now. I don't know for you, but yeah, for us, it's like we were getting 3 days of actual winter now, and then that's it. We're just really close to spring, basically. So yeah, we don't have the excuse anymore.
Yeah, I think it's starting to warm up. I think there's only going to be one more time where it gets cold, and then the rest from here on out, it's increasing, baby. So that's the good news. But I just wanted to ask, just to be safe, because sometimes,
of course,
people have had bad experiences with drinking. So, what would you say is your favorite alcoholic and non-alcoholic drink?
So yeah, surprise, the alcoholic would be beer. I love almost all of them, to be honest, except gin. uh, which, well, it's okay, but I don't really like it that much. And one I forgot, tequila. Yeah. Give me one glass of tequila and I'm on the floor. So it's not that I don't like the taste, but somehow I can drink really strong alcohol. I'm okay. One glass of tequila is my kryptonite. So yeah, I stay away from that stuff. But yeah, beer, it's like as you said, in winter, yeah, beer on the terrace outside, and living close to Belgium border. We have a selection of 20, sometimes 30 beers in some bars. So yeah, it's easy to change every time. So it's like we see the wine selection, and there's a couple, well, three, yeah, and then the beers. No, I didn't try that one, so yeah, let's go. And then we go to madness. And even in Belgium, in Brussels, there's one bar where basically they're having more than 4,000 beers. Yeah, even if
So
you
they
go
put the
there
Germans
every
to
day.
shame, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's really their core. It's like they do fries and they do beers and chocolate as well. So all good stuff for you.
Fries, chocolate, and beer. That's all we need, baby. So actually, we almost came close. We could have tried to have gone to Brussels for the one trip I was there, but it just landed on the bad day because I think that's when we were getting close to leaving or we were moving on to our next destination. So the problem is if we did get on the train to Brussels, it would have been hell just trying to get back and make sure we got back in time.
Oh yeah.
So,
well,
do.
It's okay, but it's not the best destination, honestly. If one day you would like, you could go back to Belgium. I would say Bruges would be the one of the top priority. It's a smaller city, of course, but maybe you've seen the movie with Colin Farrell in Bruges, with Colin Farrell and.
No, I haven't actually. So.
But yeah, the great thing is that they really filmed in the city, and it's not like some movies in Paris, including Mission Impossible, where they just mixed up everything and it doesn't look like actual Paris. In that movie in Bruges, they really captured the feeling of Bruges. It's like being there. So because I went there a lot of times, I cannot recommend it more because basically they call it the Venice of Belgium. So if you ever like to visit, maybe you visited Venice even, that could be interesting for you. So yeah, I prefer more that. Of course, if you like big cities and big shops or whatever, or big tall buildings and so on, yeah, you can definitely go to Brussels because it's not going to be the kind of city there. But if you like more the rural stuff and like Venice, a lot of water all around. There's an old fish market as well, but it even looks like it's coming from the Roman Empire, with stones and so on. So it's pretty nice.
So there's a little bit of history you learn from all these cities as well. So that's for sure.
Yeah.
That would be interesting because I think you hear more about Brussels and maybe a little bit of Antwerp. I don't know a whole lot, but I can see what you mean too. So something to put on the schedule going forward for the tour guides.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we call Charles to schedule us a tour so we can see.
Definitely.
Right. And did you actually say what your favorite non-alcoholic drink was? Was it like water and Coke or something?
No, I had one at the beginning, coffee. It's I put it down a little bit because I used to drink maybe 7 or 8 coffees a day. So I decided maybe with time moving on and my body moving down, I had to lower it a bit. But yeah, coffee is like the first drink of the day, sometimes even the last. So yeah, that's the favorite. Not a fan of sodas and stuff. The bubbly stuff is only for beer. So
the carbonated beverages are only for beer. So.
Exactly.
I do have to seriously ask, how do you people drink coffee? Because I've never drank it, to be honest. I've always had bad experiences with it.
I'm sorry. Well, for me, it's dark. Just plain dark. No sugar, no milk, no nothing. So really simple, but strong. A bit like Italians, basically. I love Italian coffee. The standard espresso, the one that you can put in your car and drive for hours. So yeah, the strong stuff only. But also I like a good cappuccino, with the steamed milk when it's afternoon, with a pastry or something. So, but yeah, for me it's more the dark one, Darth Vader.
I guess it does do the trick. So I guess do what you mean. All right.
Yeah.
And for the last fun questions, what would you consider has been your favorite song or a song you've been listening to a good bit recently?
Yeah, well, it may come as a surprise, but I would say it's Heartstrings from Drunk and Lonely, because that's the first and only song since 20 years that I was drawn into. Well, remake it. It's like, as I said before, it's not my thing. I like to create stuff and that's it, and I don't want to do covers. But that one, I don't know what happens. Maybe because I talked a lot with Drew, it could be. But he has an anthem, a Drunk and Lonely song. He has Quick Heart that's gonna come soon, which is amazing. Oh, I had a preview. And I don't know that one. It just clicked with me, so I listen to it a lot. So yeah, I would say this is my favorite in the story as well, because he's doing a bit also like me when the EP that they are doing is also a full story. I like that story, and that part is a bit of flashbacks and so on, basically. So it's really interesting, and I think his voice is going beautifully with everything, with the violin and with Lee's voice as well. So the Josh's wife, which is just it's clicking. It's just the perfect song for me. So yeah, that's the one.
All right, sounds like a good choice. So, all right, Charles, we actually got one more question, but I guess did you have any other questions for me or any final words you want to say before we jump into it? We're almost out of time, to be honest. So,
well, I wanted to say again, thank you very much. I hope I was not that bad at it because it's the first one. But yeah, I wanted to really say thank you for reaching out to me, wanting to do this with me as well. Because, as I said, for me it's a new thing, like trying to find myself interesting enough for other people. So, but first, when you contacting me, I was like, oh, okay, what I'm gonna say, I'm not gonna find the words. But in the end, you make it really easy. You're really easygoing, really nice. So thank you really for that. And yeah, what it's do? Basically, how it happens for you. You just find people that you find interesting, maybe on band together and so on, and you just pick on random, or do you have some profiles? Basically, you see some artists you really want because you like the sound or you like how they write, or how is it you pick basically people?
When I was looking for it, I think I was just kind of looking for the list and just saying like, worth a shot. And I figured, I don't know if it was because I was seeing a couple posts. I figured like, he put out new music. I guess let's see what he's like as well. So a lot of times it's just 50-50. I mean, I just see maybe a name I like and I'll just be like, it's worth a shot. Sometimes I hear from them, sometimes I don't, it's kind of a shame when you don't.
Yeah.
Because you figure like, the name sounds so killer. Let's get him on here. So.
Yeah, they see your message and they don't pick up, or maybe they don't even see the message. You don't know.
It's something like that. Yeah. Sometimes, I think one in particular was just like, thanks for reaching out to us, and like we'll get back to you as soon as we can, or something like that.
Yeah, the automated.
The automated messages, yeah. So,
yeah.
So I'm a little worried if it's like I think I'm some sort of those scammers, those promotion scammers, that sort of thing.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
I thought with like the message wise, I thought I at least differentiate myself, saying like, okay, I'm legit. So.
Well, if you say you're legit, people will think you're not. So that's the horrible stuff. Yeah. But yeah, the good thing in it is that for me at least, and on top, working at customer service, we have a lot of scam. So I know a little bit, and I'm used to picking up on the things, but at least the way you present yourself and so on. And yeah, I have to admit, I checked your profile and so on to make sure, because at first I think like, okay, how much are you going to ask me to pay for the interview? Thing, because that happens, unfortunately. Sometimes really expensive. Only at the
Tell
end.
me, I saw one. It was like almost like 30 grand. I'm thinking that's just for an interview. That's
Wow.
pretty much a lifetime, like, or a 1 year pay, to be honest.
Whoa.
It's so weird.
Yeah,
I mean,
if they ask an indie to pay that, I don't
be
think
like,
they're gonna
no, that's not gonna roll very well here, people. So
exactly.
I think it was a
Especially for an
beauty one,
interview.
actually.
Oh,
I think it was a beauty
crazy.
one, yeah. So
It's crazy. I imagine I'm on the wrong line, doing the music. I should do interview. If it's 30 grand the interview, come on.
you know, in truth, I actually did think about it, but I think at the same time, it's like it's really kind of unfair because first off, there are other ways for podcasters to make money.
Yeah.
But sadly, it comes with like the merch, and I guess you have to get like so many streams, that sort of thing too. Plus, I think Patreon's another option, but that seems to be a little bit tricky. So I think that would be an option going forward. Eventually, also get monetized on YouTube.
Nice. Yeah, with Patreons, I understand the people that are doing it, but I know that I would not feel great about it. Just asking money basically with nothing is like it's selling my album. Even I put it down a little bit because I thought that maybe it would be too expensive and so on. And but yeah, then that makes sense. So. But yeah, it's not easy. Also, I think asking money for something, or at least finding maybe also your worth. So putting a price on what you're doing. Even right now, because we're contacting companies for syncing option. If tomorrow I would have a company saying, okay, we're gonna make a movie and we want your song in the movie. How much do you want for it? I don't know. Can you tell me? Yeah, maybe not a million. But,
a million would be nice. Yeah. And afterwards, it'd be like, killer. Let's traffic check tomorrow. So, like, you're serious. Thank you, God. That sort of thing.
But anyway, for me, maybe hopefully they don't hear me, because then they would think, okay, we can buy the song for $1 and then that's it. But it would be more like the recognition, getting it out there basically. So the best thing would be that my song would be in a movie. People hear the movie and they're like, "Oh, I like the song. I want it." And then they find it and they become a fan. They listen to other songs and so on. And then another video game maker, for instance, I would, oh, okay, I want him for the next video game, or at least for a portion of it or whatever. That's the aim. It's not like making a one-time payment and then you disappear. Bye-bye. No, I want to get out there, basically, hopefully.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens. But did you have any other questions or anything else you want to throw in there?
Yeah, I think it's okay. One last thing. Do you like it basically, or did you have sometimes experiences where you were not feeling that great doing the interview? Maybe with some people like feeling like the I don't know if we say it in English, that the current is not going through. I don't know if it's working as well. I know in French we say that when basically you're not bonding with the person you're interviewing. So any strange stuff, or we're not gonna say names, of course. I'm not asking. But if sometimes you felt like, okay, I should stop this.
Not really where I would say like, oh, let's just stop the interview right here. And they'd be like, oh, in that case, let's just close that right here, or something like that. Yeah. No, nothing like that. It always seemed to come after. There was just one, but I'm not going to jump into that story. No. It's best to just leave it behind. But pretty much, there's always been a nice vibe. I've always used to maybe follow the script here. Maybe sometimes I like to deviate a little bit too. So that was at least some of the criticism would be like, don't follow the little script, all the questions I sent over. At least look over to see where we're at, just to kind of get an idea what to maybe go with next. To be honest, too. So. Yeah. Sometimes I admit my train of thought tends to lose because I'm trying to make more of a conversation. It's good to have more of these hour-long ones. Sometimes they can even go for an hour or two, like the hours are going right now, or just 10 minutes short of 2 hours.
Yeah, no, that's nice. Exactly. But It's the same when I watch interviews. I like exactly as you said that we have a discussion, like it's going somewhere, and it's not. Of course, there's always like a line because we're not gonna go all over the place, and people would maybe get lost or get fed up. But yeah, it's like to have the nice to have that kind of discussion indeed, because it's a connection. Or else if it's just questions answers, well, we could even have an AI doing the interview, and that's basically the same. So I find it pretty good that, and I find that you're doing pretty good as well, because, well, as I said, it's my first one. Was not feeling the most sure about me doing it properly. On top, doing it in English, not being my mother tongue. So I can say you really put me at ease. I would not think I would have done it for so long, honestly. I thought it would have lasted for 20 minutes and I would have stopped. No, you have a really nice vibe, I think, that you're giving. So I'm really happy that I did that with you. So, yeah, again, thank you very much, because didn't expect that to be that easy. And
Get you out of your comfort zone, yeah.
Maybe one last question as well, because for me what I want to do then basically in the future. But do you see then this growing bigger? Then you have plans of podcasting maybe for bigger stars in the future? So doing that more for a job or keeping that as a hobby, or do you have something maybe on the side, some music also yourself or something? I don't know.
I got a lot of ideas, to be honest. In terms of podcasting, just at least keeping in that sort of niche. I have reached out to like a couple of like big stars, for instance. One was Carl Sanders from Dial. Yeah, that I wanted to see, like, try to get him on, maybe talk more about the music and stuff like that too. It would be nice to make it a big and competing music podcast too. So
yeah,
he's trying to maybe not give up the job fully, but I mean, if I make a good penny, I'll give up the full-time job and then just strictly do podcasting. I'll be able to sleep in a lot more too. So
yeah, true.
So
nice. Well, I hope you're gonna make it, because, well, again, I sometimes, I have a feeling, as I said, it's more procedural and not the human touch. And this is where, for me, usually we even see it basically with the person being interviewed, that there's no connection, and it's not really great also for the one that is just watching and listening. But with you, I think you're natural, so I think you could do good things, good interviews, and then maybe getting a different vibe from people. And it's interesting also to hear artists that we know with their music and so on, and knowing them a little bit more. And I think we know them more with a good discussion like that, more than with just questions answered that we could just read and that's it. So I think you got a pretty good thing. Hopefully you'll get where you want.
Let's see. We'll make it work. So hopefully, but we have to see what happens this year. So fingers crossed. Stay strong to it, mate. Do you have anything else, or is it okay we jump into the final question?
No, I think I think it's pretty good. Unless you have something, of course, you want to add yourself.
Well, it's normally just the last question right here, and you might have harped on it a little bit too, but just kind of reiterate. Given what COVID has done, obviously it seems like you've been pretty blessed. You're able to work more from home now, and you're also able to now kill two birds with one stone with doing your music and also working pretty much at the same time, to be honest. But for those who have been impacted by COVID or pretty much anything in general in their lives, what sort of message of hope could you give to musicians and people out there as we try to move forward in the post-COVID world?
Well, I think that the good thing, if we would have that situation ever happening again, hope not, but that hopefully, I hope that at least a good portion of the people learn basically how to live with this, because some part of the world they already knew the pandemic, like in Asia, for instance, they worked a little bit more with that, because they were used with face masks and so on, and we were not, definitely not, and we did some nonsense and so on. So hopefully people learned with that. But for the music and so on, so I'm not doing live stuff and so on. This is not my style, and I know that for bands that are doing live, was horrible for them, and if it would happen again, it will be horrible. But I've seen also a lot of bands basically, well, going back on the creation side of stuff, because, well, of course, you're not doing live, so, well, the time that you would basically spend doing that, you could create some more stuff. I think, yeah, the message would be try and be more creative, basically, trying to, as we would be then closed in and so on, try to well, go outside with our brain, basically, like creating more stuff, and also trying not to fix ourselves in the situation itself, because I think that part of it being as bad as it was basically the media and people keeping talking of it. And basically, you're not going out of the situation if you keep talking about it. And I don't know in the US how it worked with the media, but I know, well, for us in France, it was only when the media started to slowly stop speaking about it every 5 seconds that finally the people started to, well, live again their lives a little bit better. I think it's good also to, well, focus on positive, focus on what we can do instead of the thing that we cannot do, because that's not going to change anything. So yeah, focusing on the positive and the creativity.
Spoke like a true prodigy. Yeah. That sounds good. So, Charles, we reached the end of my podcast right here. And boy, oh boy, we almost talked for 2 hours right there. But I guess, got any final words? Any shout outs you want to give before we close there, King Charles?
Not a king, but yeah, I had a feeling to be a king for 1 hour and almost 2 hours. But yeah, again, I want to thank you for allowing me to do this, and also, well, if they're listening, so to my in-laws and my wife, because, as I said, I wouldn't be here. I would not have redone the entire journey without my mother-in-law, even because back then, well, I decided to restart music, and this album was still the old album from 2013, and I put it on Bandcamp like it was, and she told me, it's okay, but it doesn't sound like the new stuff you're doing, so yeah, it's a bit too bad. So I redid it because, yeah, she was feeling like it was bad, so I felt like even her, she maybe wanted to be nice with me and so on, but she felt that it needed to be better, so I did it because of her. So really thankful for her, well, telling me, because now it changed a lot and I'm really happy with it. And also, well, the entire community of Band Together, Andrew, that I kept talking to, Joel, I made a collab with, and yeah, basically, I think everybody, every artist I met in Band Together, because, well, so far, of course, I met people where I truly connected more than others, because, well, I think there's like 7,000 people. I would be a liar if I would say not everybody. That I cannot name one single person where basically I was, well, I'm mad with, or I was disappointed with, or whatever. I think that, yeah, everybody is trying to uplift everybody, and it's a life changer, I think, for all of us, and I feel truly the vibe. So it's like going there. That's why I'm more on Facebook than elsewhere, because every time I go there and go to the group, I try to interact and so on, and every time there's like a love bomb, and it's truly crazy. So yeah. Shout out to everyone at Band Together, every indie artist that is trying to go out there to support more people, and trust yourself. So we all work together to change the music world, because we have to.
You have to, because it's slowly dying a slow, painful death, apparently, what people are saying. So
apparently, but we're not dying.
Everyone's dying at this point. All right, well, whatever. Yeah. Actually, isn't your mother-in-law supposed to be the devil? Isn't that what happens? There's no
It's supposed to. No, I'm lucky.
In this case, yeah.
Yeah, maybe that's a vengeance on life because, well, as I said, unfortunately, when I was young, I did not find support. So yeah, I think the vengeance, the karma, maybe finally decided to hit the other way around. So I got wonderful in-laws. My dad and my mom-in-law both were really supportive, fun. I can be myself, because well, sometimes that's the issue, and with previous relations I had, I was never myself with the in-laws, and I think it's the same for a lot of people. But yeah, I can be myself entirely, which is a crazy lunatic guy, and they accept me the way I am. So
Yeah, that's for sure too. I do have to admit, the blue light at times makes your hand look like what you would look like in the Blue Man Group, for instance. So just think of the. You have to turn it kind of like this way a little bit too.
yeah.
Yeah, you get more of the blue.
Yeah, because I have. Well, I don't know if I can show you easily, but I have this little gift that I got from last year because I'm a gamer at heart, and I love lights and neons and futuristic stuff and so on. So I got this. Well, because now it's 10 p.m. Well, it's night outside. I put on my little neon stuff, so I'm in the game world.
The game room, as we like to say.
So, yeah.
Maybe next time, the next interview, we'll talk more about video games then, okay?
Yeah, definitely. Maybe I will be in a video game, so that will be interesting. Yep.
All right, we'll
and maybe you will have a huge podcast with Rammstein that you will have interviewed.
Well, get hope. We'll try to get it at some point.
Exactly.
We'll see what happens. Right. Everyone, my guest today was Charles, hailing from France. He's part of the band Histheory. I always want to make sure I pronounce it right, but I'm sorry if I pronounce it wrong.
No, it's fine.
So go hit up on the socials. I guess do you want to reiterate which socials you're on, and as well as streaming platforms, so people can check out your music and reach out to you if they want to do a collab?
Yep. So yeah, mainly Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. I lost a bit Twitter/X because yeah, it's strange. So yeah, you forget me on there. And then yeah, basically because I distribute music everywhere, so Spotify, Apple, YouTube. Nobody listens to me on YouTube, so feel free. And yeah, pretty much everywhere, Tidal and so on and so on. So yeah, Histheory everywhere. And my website, super easy to find, histheorymusic.com, all in one, no dash, no nothing. So you can find me there because I did not get the chance to get the domain histheory.com, because you can go there and you will see that it's being sold for $3,000. Yeah, no. I decided to take the other one, which was about 20, so a bit more in my budget. So yeah,
a bit more in the budget range, yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, on my website, so all the songs also on there, and also the adventures basically that I started with To the Sax, as I said before, which is never-ending adventure. So everybody can join in, have some fun, and maybe this will help everybody to show a bit of positivity and so on, because I want the adventures to basically as band together basically is, but putting it out there to more and more people, like doing fun, crazy stuff, but also commenting and being nice to everybody. So hopefully that can that can do some good in our world.
That's for sure. All right, we'll leave it up to those guys to join you, but Charles, thank you again so much again for coming on. You stay safe.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Thank you for having me. You too. Thank you.
Stay tuned, y'all.
Yeah.